Good morning, everyone. Let's try that one more time. City of Tampa, good morning.
Good morning.
That's what's up, as the kids would say. I want to welcome you to the 23rd Annual City of Tampa Women's History Month celebration. This is the most appropriate time right here to clap. Women's History Month celebration. It's all about women today, and we want to celebrate what makes us special and our accomplishments. My name is Tammy Fields. I am the evening anchor at Spectrum News 13. I am honored and blessed to be able to be here with you today, really honoring and taking a moment today to lift up women who have truly made a difference in our community. We are going to take a moment right now to reflect back on how this month of March, became known as Women's History Month. In March of 1980, the National Women's History Alliance was formed by a group of women. They noticed something odd, that our stories were not being told. They found out when they flipped through the history books, the accomplishments of women were left out. Thanks to their efforts, though, in 1987, Congress declared the month of March as Women's History Month. Now, fast forward 10 years later, the City of Tampa established its Women's History Month Committee, and every single year, the committee recognizes an outstanding female employee with the Josephine Howard Stafford Memorial Award. The recipient of this award is chosen based on her merits as well as her embodiment of the National Women's History Project theme. This year's theme, right behind me, Visionary Women, Champions of Peace and Nonviolence. Today, we are deeply honored to have to my right, in the red, our state senator, Arthenia Joyner. She's going to be sharing her incredible experiences as a nonviolent protester. Many of you should know this history if you live here in our area. Back on February 29th of 1960, right around the corner from where we are right now, a historical event, the Woolworth lunch counter sit-ins happened. If you haven't had an opportunity to drive by that spot, you'll see the old F.W. Woolworth building that's being restored, and right in front of it, a historical marker. And you'll see the face of Senator Joyner as well as others who led those sit-ins. That is at 801 North Franklin Street for anyone who wants to drive by and check it out. Now I'd ask everyone here this morning to stand up. We're going to stand for the presentation of colors by members of the Tampa Police Department Honor Guard, followed by our national anthem sung by Police Corporal Sandra Weiss. We'll conclude with a Pledge of Allegiance and an international message from Lauren Miranda, who's a member of the Mayor's Youth Corps.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets right glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In the words of Kendall Gibbons, let us hold lovingly in our thoughts all the people of the earth, those who are consumed by mutual hatred and bitterness, those who make bloody war upon their neighbors, those who oppress their brothers and sisters with any form of tyranny, and all who suffer in subjection, cruelty, and injustice. Let us recognize our solidarity with all the outcast, with the downtrodden, the abused, the deprived, and with one common humanity, all those who bear the responsibilities of leadership and power. Let us remember humanity's ancient and universal dream of peace, that we live together in harmony, no one exploiting the weak, no one hating the strong, each of us working out our own destiny, self-respecting and unafraid. May we seek to be worthy of freedom, free from institutional wrong, free from individual oppression and contempt, pure of heart and hand, despising none, defrauding none, giving to all people in all encounters of life the honor due to those who, like us, are children of earth's great love.
Thank you, Lauren. We recognize the Tampa Police Department and Corporal Weiss for their courageous and committed service to our community. And again, to Lauren for those inspirational words for us this morning. Lauren, by the way, is a member of the Mayor's Youth Corps class of 2019. She's a sophomore at Brooks DeBartolo Collegiate High School in the dual enrollment program. She wants to graduate from high school with an Associate of Arts degree, and she is an active member of her school's student government. She cares deeply about hunger, homelessness, helping animals, interested in the medical field, and wants to be a pediatrician. So give her a round of applause. This year's Women's History Month theme, again, visionary women, champions of peace and nonviolence. It really reminds us how many trailblazing women have made an impact here in Tampa. In fact, there are many women right here in this room, so take a look around. It's very likely that you're sitting next to one of those people. Many women who dedicated their lives to serving others. We'd like to recognize those women who have dedicated a significant amount of time to their careers at the City of Tampa. Would all female employees who worked at the City of Tampa for more than 20 years, please stand up so we can recognize you at this time. Wow. Now, we have one woman, folks, who has completed an incredible 56 years of service to the city. I bet that's Mary Bryan that's reacting the most. Congratulations, Mary. I love your dear friend sitting next to you. She has the biggest reaction. But your dedication truly is an inspiration. To all women who are City of Tampa employees, we thank each and every one of you for your service. Thank you. At this time, we would like to recognize and acknowledge our elected officials and our special guests. And I'm going to have you stand for this. Our Honorable Mayor Bob Buckhorn. Our Tampa Fire Chief, Nick Licicero. Property Appraiser, Honorable Bob Henriquez. Our representing the supervisor election, Jerry Kramer. Councilman Guido Maniscalco. Did I mess up your name? Guido, that is Falco. Hey, correct me if I get it wrong. Facts matter. Councilwoman Yoli Kapeen. Representing CFO Patronus's office is Hillary Holly. Representing State Representative Susan Valdez, Vince Suarez. Assistant Chief Eli Vasquez. And Councilman Charlie Miranda. Thank you all for being here with us today, and we thank you for your service as well. Now, there have been 22 recipients of the Josephine Howard Stafford Memorial Award. We want to recognize all the former honorees at this time who are present today, including any of the members of Josephine Howard Stafford's family. If you're a previous recipient, would you please stand for us now? Thank you. Thank you. We would also like to recognize the founder of the Women's History Month Committee, Jeanette LaRussa. Fenton. Jeanette LaRussa Fenton, thank you. It was thanks to Jeanette's vision and her initiative that this committee was established in 1997. We thank you. Right now, bringing us greetings on behalf of Tampa City Council is Yvonne Yoli Kapeen, representing District 3 at large. She is a Tampa native who was in the first graduating class at Lido, or if you say Lado High School, attended Hillsborough Community College and the University of Tampa. As a trailblazing woman in business, she became an entrepreneur at the age of 21. By the age of 26, she'd opened her first jewelry store at a regional mall. Councilwoman Kapeen currently serves on the board of directors for the Lowry Park Zoo, one of my favorite places, the Tampa Museum of Art, as well as the Advisory Council for the Humane Society of Tampa Bay. With the Board of County Commissioners, she spearheaded the first ever Hillsborough County Cultural Assets Commission, which will stand beside the County Sports Commission and Film Commission. Please give Councilwoman Kapeen a warm welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for inviting me to be your honorary committee chairwoman. As the only female member of Tampa City Council, I'm proud to be among you today. And I want you to know that on this day, as we speak, history is being made by women all over the world. Women throughout the years have used nonviolence and peace to bring about political and social change by being committed to their goals and leading by example, being strong, determined, as well as the backbone of families and workplaces. We continue to succeed and make a difference in the world. Today, we will hear from strong women leaders in our community as they speak about their experience, commitment, and determination not to only succeed, but to excel in their chosen fields. I'm looking forward to hear their stories. Because of you, the women in this room, our voices are resonating, our resolve to move the needle, raise the bar, meet the challenge, and be the best version of ourselves. We all have a story. Please, will all the women in the room please stand? I want to applaud us. And I just want to say thank you for including me. I have a presentation. I want to present this commendation to, there you are.
Yeah, that's easier.
On behalf of the Tampa City Council, the 23rd Annual Women's History Month celebration. And we want to thank you very much for your leadership in this role.
Well, thank you. And thank you to our committee. They really make it all possible.
Jennifer Deeks, give her a round of applause. She's way too humble.
Thank you.
But one thing they say about us women is sometimes we are kind of shy and we don't want to stand up and give ourselves a little accolade. But sometimes we need to. Yes? Yes. Sometimes we need to for all that we do. So, congratulations. Of course, the City of Tampa's Women History Month Committee wants to extend their sincere thanks to Councilwoman McLean. So you get to get up one more time and come right back up here to the podium because we have something for you. This is for you.
Oh, thank you.
Very
You didn't have to, but I'm glad you did.
See what I mean? Councilwoman McLean, she gets it. You didn't have to, but I'm glad that you did. All right, it is now my honor to introduce the mayor of the City of Tampa, Mayor Bob Buckhorn. I know some people are like, oh.
That was me.
He is going to be missed. As a member of the press, I can honestly say that he has been very fair and very kind, and we just appreciate his spirit. His dedication over the years, it really has been greatly appreciated. Whether you agree with everything that he agrees with, he has always been easy to work with. During his time in office, Mayor Buckhorn has shown that Tampa's strength really is in its diversity. He's focused on building an environment that is moving Tampa to the next level while creating a strong economic climate. As a husband to his highly accomplished wife and a father of 2 daughters, Mayor Buckhorn truly understands the need to nurture a sense of community and public service in the young women of this and future generations as well. The continued development of this city and the nation, it truly depends on it. Please welcome our Mayor, Bob Buckhorn.
You know, Tammy, I don't, when you reference women being shy, that would not be the situation in my house. In fact, my littlest one, little Colleen, who all of you have watched grow up, she is the little redheaded Irish terrorist. She said to me as, you know, we were all contemplating in my house me returning home. And she said to me, she said, Daddy, she said, she was very serious. She looked at me, she said, Daddy, you really should have run for governor because you have no hobbies. And I don't want you coming home hanging around with me. I think I'm going to cramp her social life or something. Anyway, it's a pleasure to be here in this room full of strong, powerful, accomplished women and a couple lame guys. And to honor not just today's honoree, but to honor some of the women who, as you have seen on that program, have come before. I've had the privilege of knowing, working for, or working with every one of those women that have been honored previously, and it's always great to be here to support those, certainly in the last 8 years, that have made me look good. So today is a exciting day, I know, for one in particular. She is one of our finest lawyers, somebody who I have spent a great deal of time with over the last couple of years as we have done battle with Tampa Bay Water on a very, very critical issue that this region is facing. And I will tell you, she is dogged in pursuit of not just what is right and what is good for the city, but of environmental justice. And Jan McLean, who is the winner today, and the honoree, is somebody who is well deserving of that honor. And Jan, I could not be prouder of you. We still have 6 weeks to go. I'm not going to let up on you because you're getting this award today. So I expect you to be firing off those briefs to Tampa Bay Water as soon as you leave here, because we got work to do. We're also going to hear from one of my favorite people. She truly is a pioneer and a legend in this community. Most of you know her story, but more importantly, we have come to love her and respect her. As she has fought the good fight in Tallahassee for decades. She will always be my senator, always. And Arthenia Joyner is one of those people in this community whose name will forever be emblazoned in the history books as somebody who always fought the good fight. And if it didn't matter whether you agreed with her or not, Arthenia Joyner was going to let you know exactly why you were wrong, in case you disagreed with her. But I love her to death, and I am just so thankful, and I want to see her back in public service. Amen? Amen. All right. But today is an opportunity for me to do what mayors do on occasion, and that is to recognize special people. We have a couple of the folks who have been selected for the Women's Hall of Fame, or their families, and they will be here honored as well. Two of them are sitting right here, the Gonsmart family, certainly Adela Gonsmart, another legendary figure in Tampa's history, and Lee Levengood, who also has been inducted into the State Women's Hall of Fame, and you're going to hear about them shortly. But today, the Josephine Howard Stafford Memorial Award for 2019 is presented to Jan Murray McLean, Senior Assistant City Attorney, City of Tampa, City Attorney's Office, in recognition of her commitment to the City of Tampa and her many efforts on behalf of the citizens of our community. Now, therefore, I, for the last time, you may have a woman here next year. Bob Buckhorn, by virtue of the authority vested in me. I just went there, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not. Vested in me as the mayor of the City of Tampa, Florida, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2019 as Women's History Month in the City of Tampa. Thank you for all of the work that you do. You get up every day to make this city a better place, and I will tell you, this city is a different place, and our last chapter has yet to be written. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Mayor, you might as well come on back up here too. We got a little gift, little token for your hard work over the past 8 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
For everything. Yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you. We would like to now pay our respects to two inspirational women who passed away last year, Catherine Barja and Carla Lewis. Catherine Barja was the first woman to serve on Tampa City Council, and she was a 2013 Josephine Howard Stafford Memorial Award recipient. Carla Lewis was well known throughout Tampa as a neighborhood liaison. She was previously nominated for the Josephine Howard Stafford Memorial Award. I want you to turn your attention to the screen behind me for a brief presentation.
Oh God, like living in a fishbowl. Everybody was watching, looking to see, well, is she gonna mess up some way or another? She gonna, cause what? They didn't know. And it just, they were just looking for a woman to make a big mistake, And guess what? It didn't happen. Most of the things that I actually did, you probably won't even find in the City of Tampa records, because I did things behind the scenes and quietly, and whoever got the glory got the glory. I was responsible for the Mickey McGuire Recreation Center up at Roman Hiawatha, that property being donated to the city. And
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege and honor to introduce you to the 2013 Josephine Howard Stafford Memorial Award recipient, the very deserving Catherine Barja.
Life in a fishbowl, that fear of messing up, boy, that can paralyze people sometimes. So wonderful to see women, though, continuing to kick down the door and break that glass ceiling when it's necessary. Their invaluable contributions to the City of Tampa will never be forgotten. Right now, we'd like to recognize two very accomplished local women who were recently honored and inducted into the Florida Women's Hall of Fame, Adela Hernandez-Gansmart and Lee Bird Levengood.
Adela Hernandez-Gansmart of Ybor City, Florida, was known as the Queen of Ybor City. She defied traditions and culture to expand the horizon for other women who worked to balance family and a successful business. Adela served as the figurehead and hostess of the world-famous Columbia restaurant since the early 1950s, where she worked until the age of 81. She was celebrated by the national magazine Vista as one of only 13 Hispanic women in the United States recognized for their accomplishments and community service. Adela left behind many legacies, including co-founding the Latino Scholarship Fund at the University of South Florida. This robust scholarship assists academically excellent students with financial challenges to make their college and career possible. In addition to her mark in the world of education, Adela gave to her community, serving 3 consecutive terms as the president of the Ybor City Chamber of Commerce. Adela Hernandez-Gansmart, a queen of culture and community. Lee Bird Levengood of Tampa, Florida, is a pioneer for the rights and education of women and seniors. Born in Monticello, Florida in the 1920s, Lee began her lifetime of trailblazing at the Florida State College for Women. In 1947, she received a scholarship from the University of Florida to help further their gender integration efforts. While there, she helped establish the Beta Pi chapter of Kappa Delta Sorority, one of the first Greek organizations for women at the University of Florida, which is still thriving to this day. Lee and her husband later settled in Tampa, where she became actively involved at the University of South Florida. She is known for serving on the President's Leadership Cabinet, actively volunteering, and working as a beloved program builder and administrator. At the University of South Florida, Lee went on to spearhead several major senior programs in the greater Tampa Bay area. After retiring from her 35-year tenure at the university, she took her expertise to the Tampa Bay History Center, where she became the founding director of adult learning. In addition to her efforts in education, Lee also served under 3 governors as charter member and vice chairman of the Commission on the Status of Women. Lee Bird Levingood, paving a path for Florida women.
Adela Hernandez-Gansmart was inducted posthumously in recognition of her outstanding service to the community and the lasting impact that she made in the lives of women. We are so grateful, so pleased to have a member of the Gansmart family here with us. Andrea Gansmart Williams, will you please stand? We have a little special token for you. Congratulations. And also, I want to recognize a family that's here. They're in the 3rd row in the section to our right. Can I please have Carla Lewis's family? We just saw her in the video. Can we please have Carla Lewis's family stand so we can recognize you? Don't be shy. We are honored to have Lee Bird Levingood with us today. Lee has been a mentor to so many women and really has made just a remarkable difference in the lives of others by devoting much of her career to establishing lifelong learning programs. You've really made continuing education possible for so many people who otherwise would have never had an opportunity. We're pleased to celebrate your induction into the Florida Women's Hall of Fame. Will you please stand for us so we can give you a round of applause? Thank you. It's now time for a very special part of our program. It is a presentation of the Josephine Howard Stafford Memorial Award. This award was established to honor a current or former City of Tampa female employee who really demonstrates outstanding commitment to her position and the community. The award recognizes a woman who has made great strides in her profession, and it's given in honor of Miss Stafford, who herself devoted 24 years to the City of Tampa as an assistant city attorney. She was an advocate for women's issues, both professionally and the community. In 2015, she was inducted in the Hillsborough County Women's Hall of Fame. This year, eight talented women were nominated for the Josephine Howard Stafford Memorial Award. We would like for all of those women to stand up at this time so that we can recognize you. Congratulations. Now at this time, I want to present last year's Josephine Howard Stafford Memorial Award recipient, Chief Barbara Tripp. Chief Barbara Tripp is from Tampa Fire Rescue. She will be introducing this year's honoree. Please welcome her.
Good morning. Good morning. And welcome. It is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Jane McLean, Senior Assistant City Attorney. Jane is a Tampa native, growing up as a self-proclaimed Air Force brat. She's traveled as her father was assigned to bases in Indiana, Massachusetts, Puerto Rico. Jane returned to Tampa and graduated from the University of South Florida with a Bachelor's of Art degree. In 1990, she graduated from Stetson University School of Law while her daughters was in school. Jane's first legal position was an attorney at the Southwest Florida Water Management District, where she found her focus in water resource and environment law. She is the only attorney to have served as an assistant general counsel at the largest water management in the state. She was the first water conservative coordinator for Hernando County Utilities, initiating that program and establishing the local groundwater guardian chapter. Throughout her career, public service has been a calling and a priority for Jan. She has been with the City of Tampa for 13 years in support of the Public Works and Utility Service Department. Same thing the mayor was talking about. She got work to do when she leaves here. Jane has served as a committee participant presenting the city at the Florida League of City Legislative Committee for Utilities, Natural Resources, and Public Works. She was awarded 2 Home Rule Heroes Awards in 2012 and 2013. She has counseled local and state legislative boards on a multitude of water-related issues. In January 2017, Jan was invited by the Florida section of the American Water Works Association to be their speaker in the 2017 Florida legislative section to address reclaimed water efforts. Her presentation was so awesome, so outstanding, well presented. She was actually invited by the same group to be their speaker in Washington, D.C. in 2017 legislative section regarding reclaimed water efforts and water policy. In her spare time, Jane is very active. She's supportive of animals. She's also a liaison for animals throughout the state of Florida, and also veterans causes. Mayor Buckhorn, would you please join me in recognizing the 2019 Josephine Stafford Award recipient, Ms. Jan McLean.
I only have a few minutes, I have to get to work. I know most of you think that I will try to keep this brief, despite being an attorney and, as some say, being paid by the word. I will try to keep this brief. Thank you, Chief Tripp. Thank you very much. I'm in awe, and to follow you is just an amazing and overwhelming opportunity. Thank you, Mayor Buckhorn, and Senator Joyner for being here today. Thank you, Councilwoman Capine, for being the for your leadership as being the honorary chairwoman. Thank you, family and friends, for being here. All of you that are out there today, we all have so much to do for our city, and I really appreciate you taking the time out to be here in honor of Women's History Month, and for myself as well. And I'd like to take this moment to thank Lisa Levy. I don't know where she is, but she had the faith in me and submitting me for a nomination, and the belief in me and to be eligible for this prestigious award. So thank you very much. I'm very humbled and appreciative to receive this honor of the Josephine Howard Stafford Memorial Award. To be part of the women who have received this and who will receive this in the future is very inspiring and overwhelming for me. I see the young lady who was here earlier, and I have hope for the future. As I prepared my remarks, I reflected on the life of Ms. Stafford and the accomplishments she had achieved both personally and professionally. I listened to the memories of those who were privileged to have known her and received a sense of her drive and grace in her life. She set a high bar for us as women and as city employees. And for myself, as an assistant city attorney, I hope to be able to live up to her standards as I continue to serve the city. Public service is something that is very dear to me. I have had the opportunity to work both publicly and privately, and to be in service to the public is very rewarding. Some days may not seem that way, but it is. In the end, it is. And in that service, I realize something else that is important to me, and I feel that I need to mention that here today. I believe that my accomplishment cannot have been achieved and cannot be attributed to myself alone. I am but part of a larger group, a larger team, many teams actually, for different purposes. I counsel, I plan, I recommend, and I advocate. And as part of that team of city employees in service to our citizens, and personally as well, my achievements could not have been done without my ever-patient husband, Rich McLean, who's the B personality to my AAA. He listens to my stories every day, and my friends who do the same. We commiserate and we celebrate, and in that celebration is our service to our citizens. Therefore, we accomplish together, not individually, but together. And somehow I believe that Ms. Stafford would agree. Thank you all very much for being here today and to celebrate together Women's History Month.
Jan, let me have your family stand up. I have a funny feeling like they're on the second row right here on the right side. And the reason why I have this funny feeling is because they just had this look of pride when you were up here talking, and I know that was your husband because he shot your entire speech. You all can stand up. Thank you. I know you all are proud. Jan, congratulations to you. It is now my honor to introduce our keynote speaker. Y'all get ready. A truly visionary woman, well known for dedicating her entire career to equal rights and social justice. State Senator Arthenia Joyner has been a pioneer and a political trailblazer throughout her highly impressive career. I know you all have a booklet and has a lot of information in there about all of the many things that she's done and accomplished, but I'm just going to tell you about a few quickly so that we can hear from her. Florida native, she was taught by her father, Henry Joyner, the owner of Tampa's premier African-American nightclub called Cotton Club. That was a place to be. He taught her about the importance, this is a theme of today as we've been hearing from successful women. He taught her about the importance of sharing personal success with those less fortunate. Her mother also taught her an important lesson. Jean Joyner taught her to follow her conscience and her convictions and never be afraid to speak up on issues that matter. And she has been doing that for a lifetime, whether you like it or not. It was a lesson that she never forgot. She attended Florida A&M University, where she earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science, a Juris Doctor degree in law. After graduation, she worked as a legal assistant to State Representative Joe Lane Kershaw, the first African American to serve in our capital city of Tallahassee since Reconstruction. She was the first black lawyer in Hillsborough County and the first black lawyer in Polk County. Throughout her distinguished career, she has broken many racial and gender barriers, elected treasurer of the National Bar Association in '73, became president in '84 and '91, became the first African American to be appointed by a governor to the Hillsborough County Aviation Authority. '94, President Clinton appointed her to the U.S. delegation for the World Population Development Conference in Cairo, Egypt. President Clinton also appointed her to the UN Conference on Women in Beijing in 1995, as well as the Federal Administration Advisory Council, where she served from '99 until 2000. Now, Senator Joyner has asked me, don't tell them everything. But I don't care. She keeps saying, make it short, make it short, make it short. Senator Joyner remains the longest practicing black woman lawyer in the history of the state of Florida. I just want you to know what you're working with your keynote speaker. Just a few days ago, she was inducted into the 2019 Women of Distinction Hall of Fame. 2019 Women of Distinction Hall of Fame. Now, without further ado, since I was told I had better speed it up, State Senator Arthenia Joyner. Please welcome.
Thank you, Tammy, for following most of my instructions. Hello, Tampa. Hello. It's good to be here this morning. And I want to thank my good friend, Bob Buckhorn, whom I've known more years than I wish to disclose. But he's been a wonderful mayor for this city. And I agree with your baby daughter, you should have run for governor. I want to acknowledge the city elected officials who are here today, all of them, city and county. Thank you for being here. I want to thank Jennifer Dietz and Allison Smith, chair and co-chair of today's event. And I want to congratulate my sister-in-law, Jan, for that outstanding award she's received this morning. I knew Josephine real well as a young lawyer. I got to socialize and work with her professionally. So I have some history with her that goes way back. And I must tell you that since Tammy said that I was the longest practicing black female lawyer in the state of Florida, this is my 50th year as a member of the Florida Bar. Thank you for the privilege of standing here today. I'm honored to be a part of this celebration marking Women's History Month in this Tampa. I'm honored to be an array of distinguished women, many who have, for the most part, seen it all. And you are today's visionary women, champions of peace and nonviolence. I think of all the incredible women that I've had the opportunity and the great pleasure to meet over the course of my lifetime. The many who marched with me and the many whose shoulders that all of us as women stand on. The hand we reach out to the generations of women to follow us drew strength from the generations of women that preceded us. Many of their stories can be found in the Bible. Women like Ruth, who taught us bravery, Esther, who taught us courage, and Hagar, who began life as an Egyptian slave and servant to Sarah and Abraham, banished by Sarah after having given birth to her son Ishmael. Hagar doggedly retained her faith in God, and she taught us survival. Many of us can recall hearing these stories during church service or Bible studies, and we recall the inspiration we drew from them. These were the original visionary women who championed peace and nonviolence. Women like my mother, Jean Joyner, who taught me to read and speak and taught me that there would be times that I must stand up for what I believe is right, even if I have to stand alone, and to always have the courage of my convictions. My elementary school teachers, all women, Miss Brinson, Miss Clemmy James, Miss Marie Sheehy, Miss Rowena Brady, Miss C.C. Starworth, Miss Doris Ross Reddick, and Miss Jessie Artes, all of whom motivated, inspired, and instilled in me a desire to achieve, a desire to be somebody. Those women were the backbone of my existence. women who have inspired me, many who stood with me. Women like Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman to run for president of the United States, who not only fought for equal justice and equality, but blazed the trail for women like me to enter politics at the state and national level. And I had the good fortune to meet Shirley Chisholm in 1971 as a young lawyer here in Tampa. And she selected me to be her campaign manager. She made her run for president of the United States. So Shirley Chisholm was special to me. She moved to Florida and she called and said, "Arthenia, I'm now in your state." And we stayed in contact until her untimely death. Women like Patricia Stevens Dew, an early pioneer in the struggle for civil rights in Tallahassee, who became an activist at an early age after she refused to move from a whites-only line to purchase ice cream. She became easily recognizable because of the dark glasses she constantly wore, a permanent reminder of an eye injury she suffered after police fired a tear gas canister into a Tallahassee church where organizers were meeting, and one of the canisters hit her between the eyes. Patricia Stevens Dew was the ultimate community organizer. And I had an opportunity to sit at her feet and learn. And so Patricia pulled together students from Florida A&M to participate in the demonstrations in Tallahassee, Florida. Women like Gwen Cherry, my law school professor, who was the first black woman to be elected to the Florida legislature, and the second black woman to be licensed to practice in Florida. She was my mentor as a law student. Women like Rosa Parks, whose single act of defiance, refusing to surrender her seat to a white man, helped spark the civil rights protests of the 50s. And I had the opportunity to meet and talk with Ms. Rosa Parks in Washington, D.C., while attending the Congressional Black Caucus annual legislative weekend. And that, too, was a lifelong experience. It was thrilling, and I was so happy that I was able to interact with this woman who changed the course of this country. For me, the spark that ignited my passion began in Lakeland, Florida, where I was born, where my family lived until we moved to Tampa in the late 40s. It was there that I had my first introduction to the Ku Klux Klan as they rolled through our town in their white robes and their hooded masks. My parents tried to shield us from the violent hatred that rode with them. They said, "Close the door, pull down the shades, the Klan's coming." And as a little girl of 5 years old, I wondered, why? What's going on? And they explained as best they could to a 5-year-old. But it was then that I knew that there was something more for me to do. I fought my first battles over racial discrimination as a high school student here in Tampa when we protested at the Woolworths, because the only thing that kept us from sitting at a lunch counter was the color of our skin. And I recall vividly Clarence Ford, who was the president of the NAACP Youth Council, came to Middleton, and he went to George Edgecombe, and George Edgecombe was the first black judge in Hillsborough County who died at an early age of 33. George was the president of the Student Government Association, and George pulled together 20 of us and said, "We're going to march at Woolworths." And they told everybody except me. And then at the last minute, I got the word, and George said, we didn't want the world to know before we got there, and you would have told them all. So we joined up with the students from Blake High School, led by their student body president, Shafter Scott. And we met at St. Paul AME Church, and we marched on Woolworth in downtown Tampa. And that was February 29th, 1960, leap year. And we were young and idealistic, but we knew that if we wanted equality, dignity, and respect, then it was left up to us to get out there and fight for it. And fight for it we did. And I carried those protests to Tallahassee, where I joined Patricia Stevens' group and other young students marching against the segregation at the local Floridan Theater, a venue a short walk from the Florida Capitol, where blacks could not mingle with whites to simply watch a movie. And that too was something that resonates with me today, because on that beautiful spring day, May 30th, 1963, I was arrested. It was the first time I was arrested, but truth be told, it would not be the last time. We were all taken to jail, and we were subsequently released on recognizance because the dean of the women's dean came down and got us all released on recognizance. But throughout all of it, our watchword was nonviolence. We believed then, and I believe now, that change through violence is never really lasting change. Tear gas, canisters, a water hose, a police dogs, and clubs may be deployed, but the peaceful protest will continue. Fear may bring about compliance or surrender, but it does not change the hearts of people who yearn to breathe free. Anna Julian Cooper once said, "The cause of freedom is not the cause of a race or a sect, a party or a class. It is the cause of humankind, the very birthright of humanity." In 1924, Anna, an educator, writer, a voice for equality and civil rights, was only the fourth African-American woman to earn a doctorate at the age of 66 from the University of Paris. I believe that Anna saw what I saw, what Patricia Stevens saw, and what all the women we honor this month have seen and know to be true. Freedom is everyone's birthright. A little over 2 years ago, I stood on a cold and windy day in our nation's capital, surrounded by thousands of women, all wearing pink hats, not too far from the White House, and not too far from where I had once been arrested for protesting apartheid in front of the South African Embassy. It was January 8th, 1985, and it was Lawyers Against Apartheid Day, Jane. And so, at that point in my life, I was president of the National Bar Association, the nation's oldest and largest organization of black lawyers in America, that was founded because we were not allowed to be members of the American Bar Association. And so on that day in January, that cold day in January, when I was the only one not adequately covered up, freezing, I was arrested along with 8 others, a former attorney general, a congressman, a woman, a college professor. But it was the day that we stood up to tell the Reagan administration that they needed to get on the right side of history and that America should not respect and honor the apartheid system that was rampant in South Africa. The Women's March was not only an outpouring of protest against the president for his anti-woman and anti-immigrant words and views, it was an uprising by women fed up with the status quo. It was an unprecedented protest. More than 1 million women on 6 continents who joined hands on that day with those of us in Washington. A massive surge of passion and determination united in a reaffirmation of our strength and our commitment to change. No shots were fired, no fists were raised in anger, only our voices lifted in protest and outrage and in demand for change. And in the midst of this outpouring, a small group of women sang a song that quickly spread across the world and has become an anthem for women everywhere. It is called Quiet. But no one will know me, no one ever will, it begins. If I don't say something, if I just lie still, would I be that monster, scare them all away? If I let them hear what I have to say? I can't keep quiet, no, I can't keep quiet, no, A one-woman riot, and that's what each woman is in here. Today and throughout this month, we celebrate that one-woman riot. Every single one of the multitude of them held across generations from country to country, town to town, and woman to woman. Because as I look back and I stand here now, there's one commonality every one of these one-woman riot shares. They are a reflection of all of us. Every one of us has had to stare down oppression in one form or another. Every one of us has had to stand up to discrimination, overt or more subtle. Every one of us has had to fight for something better wages, equal opportunity, or simply respect. And we are a mighty force precisely because of those struggles. It is this collection of women, this band of sisters who carried me through when I spoke out against the line that divided us because of skin color. That gave me hope when no one would hire a young black woman attorney in Hillsborough County in 1969. But my father took me to the bank and said, loan her $1,000, and I'm not co-signing because I don't do that, but she wants to open her office, and he did. And that is how I got my start as a lawyer. If folks reject you and say no, then you take the plunge and do what's necessary to succeed. And so I hired myself. It was women who added their voices and their votes when I fought to change laws shackling pregnant women inmates. It was women whose voices were heard when I pushed to restore voting rights to non-violent ex-felons. It was women when I returned some semblance of human dignity to the families of forgotten boys buried in an unmarked grave on the grounds of a state reformatory school, the Dozier School in Marianna, Florida. It was Representative Edna Rain and I carried the initial legislation about Dozier, and it was a wrong that we were attempting to right as best we could all these years since. I remember that 1 year between college and law school that I taught in the public schools of Hillsborough County at Booker Washington Junior High School, United States history. And I had some of those young people who had been to the Marianna Reformatory School, because back in the day we called it just the Reformatory School. And there were scars that they had and lots of problems. So we worked as best we could as teachers to help them so that they could gain some confidence and move on and become educated. So as we honor the prominent leaders today, the groundbreaking pioneers and the fearless champions in the nonviolent struggle for civil rights, take a moment and also honor yourselves. This journey has not been a solitary one. We walk this path together. In the New Testament book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 1, the Apostle Paul reminds the people of faith that a great cloud of witnesses surrounds them. I'm proud to say that those of us assembled here today is the great cloud of witnesses that surrounds each of us. Because for every stride made, every right won, and every milestone celebrated, we did this as one, reaching out to those ahead, pulling up those behind. You shared the vision we knew to be true. And you, women of this city, this state, and this nation, and this world, and you are the change that we envision. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It is always a reporter when you're listening and you're taking notes, when you're just hearing some wonderful, wonderful words. Thank you, Senator Joyner. Jan McLean, thank you. Thank you very much, and congratulations to you. Couple of housekeeping things. We want to thank all of you, every single one of you, for coming out and spending some time with us this morning. There is a complete list of the folks who made this program possible on the very back of your program, so hopefully every single one of you have been able to pick up one of those. Many thanks to the Mayor's Youth Corps, the Blake High School Jazz Band. Did you all hear that? Shameless plug here. Nikayla, the drummer, the female drummer, she plays at my church. She's good. All of them are good, though. She's good. Special thanks also to the Tampa Police Memorial Committee, Successful Women Around Tampa, and the Tampa Police Department Honor Guard. We appreciate each and every one of you. We would not be here if it wasn't for the hard work of the Women's History Month Committee. Will you all stand for us quickly so that we can give you a round of applause for putting this event on? Kudos to each and every one of you for a wonderful, wonderful event. If you haven't seen it already, in the very back of the room where the cake is, there is a Women's History Month display that you all should check out if you have a little bit of time. And also, there's a display that you can look at in the mascot room that's located on the first floor of the old City Hall building if you have some time during this entire month of March. Also, last but not least, this is important. Women out there, as part of Women's History Month, if you have any clean, gently worn dresses or suits, please, we're donating them for the Dress for Success organization. You can drop off your donations at 11 different locations. All of them are listed in the very back. So if you need to do some spring cleaning, help another woman, a mom, a young person out that's trying to get a job and wants to dress appropriately. Finally, the Women's History Month Committee, pleased to provide parking vouchers to those guests who have parked in the South Regional lot. The vouchers are going to be available to you as you exit. They'll be from the members of the Mayor's Youth Corps. So please look for them as you enter. Everyone, thank you so much. I am, again, very honored to be here with you today. This was such a great event, wasn't it? Have a great day, everybody.